Man, this one's wild. I'm traveling, yada yada. We got some more important stuff to get into here in this episode today. Brawl Talk tomorrow. Today we got the biggest update sneak peeks that we're going to get, as we always get every single time whenever Brawl Talk comes out. And today we are going to be breaking everything down, and this one is a wild one. Just about 2 hours ago, at the point that I'm recording, 3 hours now, at the point that I'm recording this video, we got this pop-up on Twitter, a message from the Brawl Stars dev team saying, "Bring boxes back. Brawl Talk tomorrow. Hashtag classic brawl. Hashtag Brawl Talk." So it's pretty dang obvious this pre-Brawl Talk sneak peek breakdown is going to be a little bit different than what we're normally used to here. We have very little information to go off of. The biggest grab or the catch instead of Easter eggs or sneak peeks that the dev team is utilizing to draw attention and hype is the big one. Brawl boxes seem to be coming back, and we're going to be getting into what I think that's going to look like in the update. Really, the only thing that we can take away from this post is always the hashtag. The hashtag gives us most of the information every single time, with the first season that's announced in the Brawl Talk of the two that come out in the update. So that would be Classic Brawl. So it seems like they're going back in time to a time in Brawl Stars that is classic, whichever era you think that might be. Obviously, I think it's more tied to the Brawl box, but what that theme could look like is a little bit up in the air. Possibly could be reverting back all the way back in time when it was more centric around like Wild Wild West theme. But yeah, dude, hey, usually we take some time later in the video to break down this photo that's posted here, but like I said before, this is the main grab. Brawl boxes are coming back. Poor little guy. They patched him up. He's crying, but he's coming back. The AC just turned on. You'll have to forgive that noise in the background. But I forgot to mention, make sure you guys are staying tuned to the channel. As you guys know, I always try to keep you guys up to date with update content, and seeing that we got Brawl Talk tomorrow, things are heating up. So subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate that. But next up, taking a look, if we can get any more information from the actual Brawl Talk premiere itself. Again, very minimal when it comes to the actual Easter eggs or sneak peeks here. No information about how many brawlers there could be, no information about like a potential new game mode, nothing. Literally the title for this Brawl Talk is Mega Boxes Are Back. But I do find it interesting or odd that it is just mega boxes in the title, right? Not just brawl boxes. As you guys know, or maybe you don't if you're newer to the Brawl Stars community, but there's 3 different types of boxes before they're removed: big brawl box, regular brawl box, and mega brawl box. So again, I'll be trying to get into reasonable speculation later on in this episode what I think they might be doing with boxes in this update. But yeah, other than that, dude, hey, there's nothing else to pull away from this premiere, dude. They're really trying to draw the people with that punch that boxes are coming back. But next up, getting any more information that we can, we're taking a look at the metadata of the YouTube video, the Brawl Talk. Utilizing this website, we can take a look at a lot of different information about the Brawl Talk before it's released, even though it's premiere, such as the length of the video itself. Also some other really interesting things, much like the tags. This is actually really interesting. The video length compared to most of the recent Brawl Talks here, this one is only going to be 8 minutes and 53 seconds. So let's just say 9 minutes. It could be that they're trying to maybe shorten Brawl Talks a little bit. It might be something that they're trying to do, seeing that the last one was 9 minutes and 34 seconds. And I believe we took note of that when we were taking a look at the info for that Brawl Talk before it was released as well. But before that, the norm was like close to 12 minutes, like this one 11 minutes and 43 seconds. All right, so I think it's time to get into really the only other information that we have here when it comes to this next update, other than mega brawl boxes, right? We have the thumbnail here with Frank, a silhouette, and then of course the mega box. So why don't we start with the silhouette here? Not gonna lie, silhouettes are so dang hard to pull anything away from. They have stumped me so many times in the past, but this one in particular has something easy to pull away from, and I think can make our only huge connection of this Easter egg or sneak peek Brawl Talk video here. But first of all, it kind of looks like a human character with like boots that would remind me of like Bull or something like that. I got a feeling it's gonna be a male brawler. Looks like we got some like poofy hair up there and stuff like that. It's just silhouette stuff. But where the eye-catching stuff comes from is at the very bottom, the thing that the character is leaning on here. It is easily, and I swear to gosh if I'm mistaken, I better not, because it looks exactly like a paintbrush. One of those like cartoonishly big paintbrushes. So it looks like we might have a character that's interested in paint or artistry to a point. Now, I'm sure you guys are sick of seeing this freaking chart, because I am as well. I'm not gonna lie, that speculation video that we made about like trying to figure out the brawlers, it was really convoluted. I thought we were onto something. We still could be onto something, but seeing the paintbrush on that brawler, seeing that we don't have any information here, I think it's important to keep things simple. What do we know? And what do we know for sure has been practices that have continued up until this point, right? But the one thing in particular that I think we didn't focus on enough in that episode is where the Brawl Stars dev team feels comfortable with the brawler families that have 2 members in it and the brawler families that have 1, or newly created brawler families. I don't have the notepad with me, but I believe I went back about like a year and a half or 2 years and just looked at all the amounts of brawler families that had 2 members and brawler families that have 4, and where that comfortable spot that the dev team liked to be at, or at least if there was a spot that they would like to stay at. And what I found was 6-4 was that nice comfortable spot for them. Now, I think from the ramblings of that one episode talking about this for literally like 12 minutes, we are looking at this photo. But we had mentioned that another potential outcome could be filling in 2 duo brawler families to get back to that perfect sweet spot that they seem to like, 6-4. If we fill in 2 different double brawler families, we'll go back to that 6-4. But getting back to the only connection that we can make here with this silhouette, we have the brawler with the paintbrush. If you ask yourself, if we have paint or artistry with a paintbrush, what makes sense for this brawler to fit into, to just get a better vibe of where they might fit into the Brawl Stars universe? The only thing that came to my mind was Otis, right? That's the only connection that I have to paint, and seeing that we're dealing with paintbrush, that's really the only connection I had. I guess I also thought maybe Toon Studios with Kit, but I think with the paintbrush, the connection is just too perfect, with Otis being like this paint octopus thing. Who even knows what Otis is, man? So literally forget everything that we talked about in that episode. I really think Brawl Stars is pulling a 180 on us. I think the Deep Sea is getting a new member to their family. But then it brings us to the potential second new brawler and what might make sense. And this one is going to be much more loose. We don't have any other information. The dev team, I think, wanted to make it very open-ended, confusing, and hard to tell. So I'm going to give you guys a few different possibilities that I think might make sense. I think we really just need to simplify things. I think another piece of information that had just come out recently was the change of the loading screen here with this brand new event. We had this one, the Summer Splash loading screen. I think it could give reason a potential new member fitting into the Buzz trio. That's one of the options that I'm thinking. Number 2, as we've been speculating for some time now, and I mean some time, I think it's been like 3 updates in a row now. We've been saying Castle Court Yard. Our third potential option is the Bizarre Circus, just strictly going off of the speculation that we had in the past, but seeing that we're getting a Deep Sea member potentially, and that's where I guess the best feeling speculation is coming from. I feel like if that's the case, it throws out everything that we talked about in that video. The only other thing that I think has some merit or might have some connection is something that we actually mentioned in that episode, and that was maybe Candyland. So I'm giving you guys like 4 options. I know I'm kind of spreading my aim out there kind of wide, but the only reason I'm thinking Candyland outside of my actual like speculation surrounding the patterns here, even though I did mention it, is when the Candyland Brawlers were announced, right? It was around the time boxes were removed from the game, right? It was that specific update. So I feel like, you know, instead of speculating loosely and just looking at patterns and stuff like that, I think all we really can do is look at loose associations. Like, I don't know, maybe if the Brawl Stars dev team is trying to get people back to Brawl Stars with boxes, and around the time when people left was when boxes were removed, and during that update we had 2 Candyland members added to the game, maybe that might have some interesting influence on individuals that left during a time where Candyland was really, really important at that time, the environment and all that. It might be a nice connection for them. It might help them return to the game, being familiar, I guess. I'm not feeling fantastic about that whatsoever. I think, honestly, the second family here is meant to be very ambiguous, very, very hard to pick out. And seeing that our past connections or speculations are pretty much so thrown out the window, it can really be anything. The only thing that I am feeling really, really good about is that this second Brawler family, aside from the Deep Sea, I think needs to be a duo Brawler family. I'm feeling really good about getting back to that 6-4 that the dev team likes to do. So whether that's Castle Courtyard, Candyland, Deep Sea, Velocirapids, Ghost Station Star, any of them, right? But we'll just have to wait and see what ends up happening, right? That's all I can really do for you. And I think that's really as deep as we can go. We can't go any deeper than that. But then, of course, slotted in at this portion of the video, we would normally go into the sneak peek photo, but we don't have that to go over in this episode today. We just have the crying box. So we'll take it as it is. It seems like boxes are coming back, but I'm not sure if it's going to be 100% like it's being said, right? I don't think they're going to be reverting a progression system that they've been working on with the Star Road for the last, I don't know, long time. What I think makes a lot of sense for something like this is an event, much like the dev team has been doing with these like community-based events, maybe like something like the Godzilla event that we had for, I don't know, it lasted like a month. We could have something that's centralized around mega boxes, much like we had during the Godzilla event. I don't think we're going to be able to just head to the shop and spend like a crap ton of gems and stuff like that. I think what the dev team is trying to do and what they noticed from this most recent update is the power of like drawing people back to Brawl Stars, right? And how popular it can make the game. Brawl Stars hit its peak in the last update, and that's attributed to bringing back a lot of people back to Brawl Stars that maybe gave up on it in the past, and of course bringing in new players. So what's an amazing practice to get more people back to the game that used to play back in the day, and that is bringing back boxes, probably the most pivotal turning point to making people leave the game. So I think that's their whole goal of this update here, seeing the branding of the Easter eggs and the whole Brawl Talk title. I think that's what they're trying to go with. So I'm thinking a Mega Brawl Box event to a degree in which it's going to be something similar to the Godzilla event. But yeah, man, that's really all I got for you here. We went as deep as we possibly could, but in all, TLDR, this update is seeming to be really, really interesting. I like the ambiguous nature of it. We don't know anything. All that we do know is mega boxes are coming back to a degree, which is hype as heck. Also very excited about Classic Brawl, what that could represent. But yeah, man, I think I'm going to leave you guys off on that note. Would be really, really interested in hearing what you're speculating about, what you're thinking about the update. And again, make sure to stay tuned to the channel. We'll be covering everything we need to know about the update in due time. So yeah, should be fun. But with that being said, we'll be talking super, super soon, everyone. Adios and take care.